podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com. They came from the game table, dice bags in hand,
We have one brain that we share between us.
to talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever.
I got four games and now to do now. So
it's just feast or famine with you, Glenn. Either you got nothing going on, or you got too much.
yeah, pretty much. Hiya, folks. THACO's Hammer, Splat Book number 123. Maintaining the legend. Oh man, it is so hard.
Yeah,
The legend is so hard.
once you've got got the reputation, yeah, it's really hard to uphold it. It's true.
Well, yeah, I wanted to go somewhere else with that. But okay.
I was steering you away from it.
And I'm DM Glen, and this is DM Brian.
Hey, folks, what's going on out there?
And being silent on the matter is DM Full-On Gamer, smart man.
Greetings, Gamer Nation. We are now 50% on the THACO's Hammer crew. Half of you have not answered. Well, 1/3 is not answered, and another quarter hasn't. My math is bad right now. No response as to where Corey stands on the viewing of the greatest movie in cinema history at the moment, but one more is down and one more is withholding.
Yeah, I have to.
I haven't seen the Super Mario Brothers movie yet, so.
What, Luigi's coming out party? What?
Whoa!
But anyway, yeah,
I do like the fact that they actually announced they're going to do a second John Carter movie.
really? That was
Yeah.
and they're not going to do
Disney
another
announced.
Tron movie. What?
Yeah, go figure.
Come on, Disney, get your.
They're busy making Star Wars movies. They don't have a budget
That's
for
true.
it.
Yeah. We'll get to. I'm still waiting for King Conan.
I would love to see that, but yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So yeah, just to let everybody know, yeah, I saw The Force Awakens last night, and I was about to start
And I
dropping
didn't.
knowledge until Glenn piped up and said that he hadn't seen it yet, so I have to keep my mouth shut.
That'll probably change this week sometime. Anyway, let's go to hits and crits.
Well,
One thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly.
so
They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate.
Anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and crits. Brian, what did you do? Do I have to ask?
Let's see, working on some campaign stuff.
The Force
Yeah,
Awakens.
saw The Force Awakens last night. You know, I'm still kind of processing it a little bit. Let's see, what else? You know, and I'm taking a break from Path of Exile because I basically hit a wall with the character build that I have, where now she's near the end of the what is it? The cruel level. There's normal, there's cruel, and there's merciless. I think it's merciless.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm near the end of cruel, and she's getting just completely stomped. So I have to like rethink what I'm doing with her. But
I play boring computer games.
I play those too.
I've got here Evil Pumpkin.
What?
It's one called Evil Pumpkin or Haunting Mystery. You know, the story ones, the adventure
those
ones.
things, yeah.
You know, the Hogs hidden object game. I love those things, and any kind of match 3. You know,
Those are the games. Those are games my mother-in-law plays.
but that's well, I get them for free, so you know.
Okay, I got you. No worries.
Yeah. Game giveaway of the day.com on the weekends. Yeah. So fall on. How many times has it been now? You seen it?
2 times.
2 times. 2 times
But
more
there
than
are
I
many-
have.
There are many people who are wrong on the internet, so I am valiantly keeping up a good fight, making
What's
things right.
Someone's wrong on the internet. Oh boy.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah, what was it? Was it a comic? Was it like a Bloom County or something like that? Yes, I have to stay up. Somebody is wrong
No,
on the internet. I
that's
can't go to
yeah,
sleep.
that's I forgot what the strip name, but yeah, we did a bit on that. It was like one of Crispy's last appearances on the show.
That's
Yeah, so,
right.
yeah,
So
science.
somebody's wrong. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I forgot about that too. Yeah, yeah, science. I gotta remember.
So what
that.
you been doing?
Let's see. Well, I'm going to try and find time to see Force Awakens between dealing with 4 games,
Humble brag.
three face to face and 1 online. The Saturday game. Well, the Saturday game. I mean, I'm only running 1. The other 3 I'm playing in, and the Saturday game I'm letting Eric deal with that right now. You figure out where we can go, and we went to Jimbo's yesterday, so we played some Oriental Adventures. It was fun. I'm running the Monday game, Castles and Crusades. I ran Temple of the Ghoul. It was a short module that I found, dungeon crawl type thing I found for Osric. And first edition I found, it was basically, I think the Dragon's Foot guys put it together. And so I found out that, I could really make this dovetail right into the Caves of Chaos, and I think I will.
Because there's that one corridor that's full of rubble that could lead somewhere else.
No, actually, I'm going to do it with like a portal or something, because they've gotten through all that, and we had to stop just short of the final confrontation with the big ghoul, and he's going to run away through a portal, and I want to see if they follow. If they follow, they're right in the middle of the Temple of Chaos and the Caves of Chaos.
Oh yeah, surrounded by skeletons and zombies with the big ghoul and all that stuff.
They've already fought some skeletons and stuff and giant rats and things, so they should be right at home. They're first and second level characters. Let's see, what else? Oh, the BX game is going good. Like I said, we got out of the pit. I told you all about that. Last Tuesdays was canceled. The DM had prior commitment, and the Thursday game is Castles and Crusades, where I'm going through the Keep on the Borderlands.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm playing an illusionist, first level illusionist. What was his name? Otis Daniel David Ball.
ODDB.
Also known as Oddball.
Oh, wow.
The illusions, and I'm playing it exactly the way you think I'm playing it.
I will.
Yes. There's some fun spells in there. Like I have a spell called Head Fog.
Okay.
Yeah, you throw it on somebody and it puts fog around their head. It's an intelligence roll saves, but for like three or four rounds, they're a -4 to hit because they can't see because there's fog all around their head. And I have yet to hit it, but what I do is like, I call it my purple haze.
Going through my brain, yeah.
Going through my brain. Yeah, we got stopped by some idiot bandits, and I couldn't. And my God, the game master was like, after failing 2 spells with saves, I hit him, but it's like he was rolling 19s and 20s. He says, I'm afraid to throw any spell with a save in it.
Why?
Because he was making 19s and 20s.
It can't last forever.
And yeah,
well,
that's
was
true.
he rolling behind the screen or was he rolling out in front?
It's a G+ game with D20 for the die rolls and the maps. So yeah, and the die roller is like 20, 19, 18. Come on, man. These are illusion spells. Give me a break.
Yeah,
I was trying to talk the guy into like going away. Look, you got something to do. We got something to do. You got a lot of negative waves going on right now. So why don't you guys just go away? And I threw a cantrip called Influence. It's like a minor charm person. Only it lasts 3 rounds. So I figured, well,
that's cool.
That's all we need.
Yeah, 3 rounds is usually enough.
But I kept going. He needs a wisdom save. 18. You mother.
Yeah.
I had color spray already. It's like, no, he's going to save.
The funny part is color spray doesn't have a save unless they redid it for CNC.
Well, the higher hit die and level characters get a save, but it's still half. The higher level characters get stunned. The lower ones get killed outright, and the middle ones, I think they're blinded. or something like that. So it kind of works the same.
Yeah, but
yeah. Well, that was That was me.
well, you got enough gaming going on for all three of us. That's for sure.
Yeah. Another guy wanted me to start a game, and
my schedule is busy.
I says, look, I pushed the envelope just as far as it can go with my wife, so I'm going to have to pass this time. Anyway.
Yes, we got emails. All right, got one from DM Sean. He says, I am a big fan of the Brainstorm and hope to hear more of them in future episodes. You gonna get your wish. We got one today. Yes, we do. I was driving. What?
Well, I thought you wanted to wait until Corey could be with us again.
No, we've gone 7, 8 episodes without doing one. So I mean, and it's kind of hard to catch up with him as of late.
Okay.
We're just gonna keep rolling, and when he can merge back in with us, it's cool. Let's see. All right, continue. I was driving home recently, and an idea struck me for a dungeon. I won't go into full detail of everything I thought up, but here is the.
But I had insurance, and the guy didn't.
Exactly. But here's the initial idea that got me started. I think this would be a lot of fun, and I would really love to flesh it out with some of your input. Okay, here we go. Adventurers wanted. Efforts to reclaim the portions of the warehouse district buried in last year's earthquake continue on schedule. Excavations have uncovered the storefront Crazy Crandor's discount dungeon emporium. Union law prohibits salvage operations on properties owned and operated by Magi unless safety inspections are first performed by non-union contract laborers. Read Adventurers. Crandor is reported to have been in the business of the manufacture and distribution of wholesale home securities. A flyer recovered from the showroom floor reads as follows: tired of dealing with denizens of the Underdark? Fed up with the antics of overzealous adventurers? Come on down to Crazy Crandor's for the best in affordable lair securities. This weekend only, half off crawling feet and buy one get one sawdust golems. That's what he put.
Oh, great!
Come on down to Crazy Crandor's.
I knew I should have given
half
you this.
off discount. Out.
I knew I should have.
I can see where this is going to go. It's destroyed. Holly's stuff is in there, ready-made dungeon.
Exactly. With traps and various other methods of securities that the party has overcome.
Whatever got buried in there,
So, that's an interesting concept.
That is a good concept. I think we can play with that a little. Or I can, anyway.
Yeah.
Easily.
This is right up your alley, full.
What?
I'm not saying, I'm just saying,
It got to go in the night below to get the rest of it back and drop through a portal.
You want to shoehorn the party in the night below, there's a way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Or Undermount, either one.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. Okay, moving on to the next email. This is from our...
Thank you, by the way.
This is from our For Gold and Glory benefactor, Dan Highland.
Oh, cool. Thanks for writing, Dan.
Yeah, I like the fact that he continues writing to this show. Let's see. Dear THACO's Hammer, I'm glad to hear Corey and Fulham have received their copies for Gold and Glory, and I hope that Brian and Glen have also received these since recording Splat Book 115. Yes.
Oh,
we got
yes.
Them. Yeah, we got them just before we dropped 116, which should be coming out today. I'd have thought that Fulham would have been the last to get his book. The guy at the post office seemed doubtful that the address I used would get it to him. No, that's what APOs are for. That's kind of funny because post office knows what APOs are. What the hell? Anyway, Brian and Glenn, let me know if you still haven't gotten yours, and we'll see about fixing it. We got them.
By the by, I forgot to tell you guys that a couple days ago, Zach Gallagher emailed me and he said the death and taxes stuff is shipped for our review.
Oh, okay.
I gave him all your addresses, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, I certainly will. Let's see. And Corey, some of the artwork does look like the artists were on Laudanum because some of them were. I don't know which. Corey, I'm not going to speak ill of him because he's not here to defend himself, but Corey's a touch bitter because he did some artwork for Golden Gory and it wasn't used. So yeah, that's where that little snarky comment came from. Let's see. I enjoyed Splatbook 114's discussion on factions in a city. I found that using factions in general and not just in cities is a great and easy way to run a game. Once I put in some work to create a number of factions and figured out what their goals are, it's pretty easy to avoid a railroad yet still maintain a coherent plot as the characters are forced to deal with the factions. Regardless of which factions they ally with, or even if they don't ally with any, their actions drive the plots of the game as they react to the faction's actions. There's a phrase for you.
Action. Yeah. He's got faction action.
And
faction action hits.
And the faction's reactions to theirs. Yeah, no, not their hips. Stop.
And he hits us again.
Okay. Drawing the characters into conflict between factions is a good way to start. Do the characters ally themselves with the local Falling River tribe that they were born into, for example, or the occupying Stormfist Empire's armies that they've since joined? Making tough choices with both good and bad consequences for each option works well too. The ogres of the Sons of Hud, there's a name for you, may be longtime foes of the Falling River tribe, but when they come seeking shelter from a dragon that's marauding their homeland, is it better to give them aid or help the dragon finish them off? And even if the characters ignore a faction's machinations, I almost tripped over that, and their inaction creates more consequences that can be used. What happens when the characters ignore the warning signs and don't do anything about the cult of the hungry? Using these kind of ideas and tricks, the campaign all but runs itself.
Oh, yeah. Well, my favorite... go ahead, Full.
Okay. Nothing?
Oh, I thought...
I was just listening along.
Oh, okay. What I like about factions is a lot of times it dovetails right into my favorite plot device, which is mistaken identity.
Yeah, for sure.
And, until a faction approaches a character or characters and asks them to help, you could just let them go on their merry way. Because, and if you use I've done this before, mistaken identity. These two guys, I had a player character who looked exactly like this high priestess that these guys from the cult were waiting. I keep seeing him at the airport with the sign, high priestess. But no, they were doing these weird signs, and he did them back because he thought they were weird, and he thought they were funny, and they come up to him, and it's basically, you got to desecrate this guy and get his body out of the thing, and he goes, you're so-and-so, right? Yeah, what do you need? And it just, once again, like you said, it wrote itself. All of a sudden, they're hired to do a grave robbing to discredit one faction for the other, and he's, what the hell? They're going to pay me. I don't care, And so that's.
Go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say I got 6 words for you: lucky number 11, last man standing.
Last man standing.
Force Awakens. Enough said. We won't say any more.
I will. A fistful of dollars.
Sure. I mean, my only thing is that I, as a player, it's one of those where, I don't have a problem with, dealing with factions, but if everything that I do or don't do affects either my status or my character's safety, because if I do something, I'm going to piss off this one faction. If I don't do this, I'm going to piss off somebody else. If I do nothing, everyone will be pissed. No, that's not a railroad, that's a straitjacket.
Like I said, then you urge him to go the, like I said, fistful of dollars way and play one against the other.
And usually that's what ends up happening, because it's the only way you're going to get both factions off your back. Okay.
Yeah, remember that one module we reviewed that had the mated pair of dragons in there, and we urged the players to play one against the other against the dragons. Yep. Okay, yeah, they did it. They did it.
Yeah, exactly.
They killed your mate right there.
Exactly.
While you're pocketing gold.
While you're looting their lair behind their backs. Okay. To continue, on to Splatbook 115. As I'm running a humanoid-centric campaign, I found the discussion on humanoid cities to be very interesting. The way I see it, humanoid cities are all but a foregone conclusion. To field an army or a war band or whatnot, that requires a certain population density, which in turn requires cities of their equivalents. That's not to say that these are nice places to be, but they are functional in providing the means to recruit, train, and maintain an army. For an example, I see a typical humanoid city is centered around a strong utilitarian fortress for the ruling class, surrounded by barracks for the army, in turn surrounded by sprawling slums of shanties and tents for the common folk.
Just sort of layers.
Well, that's kind of how most D&D cities are, really. I haven't seen much ones that aren't like the rich people live on the best part of the land and lower classes get progressively worse as you go down.
Well, if you look at something like Bluffside, where like the old city is in the center with the ruins, and then everything built around, and there's like caverns between them with bridges. They all built around the other side, and you can plainly see, okay, this is this section, this is this section. The old city, that's where it started. This is this section. Yeah, you got to build out.
Yeah, basically. Well, that was the brainstorm we did about the jungle, the river port. Remember that? Yeah, it was
That's
the same
right.
kind of concept.
We started with the river, started with the city, then we had the lizard men and the troglodytes and the this and the that, all outside and near the jungle or in the jungle.
Correct. Or even in the Badlands beyond the jungle. Okay, to
Yes.
continue. Vast fields tended by captives and slaves encircle it all to provide the food that the city requires. Foreigners, or at least those from places not currently at war with the humanoid civilization, are welcome as long as they bring valuable trade and don't stray too far from the designated foreign quarters.
Right.
Make sure they didn't take our jobs.
Yeah. Damn foreigners.
Exactly. Though originally built only to support the army, the city provides the humanoids with trade, which in turn enriches the ruling class and makes the army stronger. The example is admittedly pretty bare bones. I'm sure that you all can do better in fleshing out humanoid city out, and perhaps as part of a brainstorm session. Hint received, Dan. Keep up the good work, Dan. Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. Hey, I got a question. It's kind of, sort of related to this. When you make a campaign world, say you're going to, do a fresh campaign world, you start in the D&D campaign, whatever, and you create your own world, or section or continent or whatever. How many areas of civilization, cities, hamlets, towns, whatever, do you normally put on the average?
That's a good one. Geez, I haven't done anything from scratch in 20 years. Usually, I'll take if I'm using, like, say, the World Builder's Guidebook, and I do the topography first. You do your mountains, your forests, your rivers, all that stuff. Usually the best land is where a lot of the civilizations will either be in or near.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, like, I've done worlds before, and sometimes I look at them and go, "Is that too many cities? Is that too many towns?"
Depends on what the distance is between them, really.
True. I mean, yeah, the range is, and I'm bad at range. I'm bad at distances. So, because I always think about, okay, these 2-3 towns are too close, because I start getting ultra realistic, which is uncommon for me. Saying, do they really have enough farmland to support that city?
You gotta also,
or
that's what trade is for.
Or that kingdom, or
that's
what?
True.
Okay.
That's what trade is for. That's why there is an economy of interdependence and not universal conquest, or reasons for attempting universal conquest, because we need more food, and they have it.
True. Okay. I mean, I know enough to put, like, towns near crossroads and rivers, because that's how you get the places, the stuff to and from. And seaports, things like that, where you have an access to do that kind of thing. But I was just wondering, I was looking at an old map of mine the other day, and I'm going, I could have done like about half of those on the map. I guess I could always, you can always go back to look at, like, crack a Conan book open and look at the map
Yeah, well, in
token.
Conan, there was like
Yeah.
vast distances between cities, if I remember correctly.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Tolkien
Very
was
much
pretty
so.
kind of the same thing, just a little bit smaller in scale. I mean, you don't have to even Forgotten Realms. Just using the Western Heartlands as an example. You know, Waterdeep is their Los Angeles / San Francisco on the western coast, but
Right.
you don't have any major
Right.
cities anywhere near it. The closest one is like Luskin, which is like
Well,
several hundred miles
okay.
to the north.
And Baldur's Gate is way up there.
Baldur's Gate's way up there. Silvery Moon is like off to the northeast.
No, Neverwinter, and okay. Well, I'm just curious.
Okay.
Anyway, do one more.
All right, we got one from DM Freddy. All right, he asks about Greyhawk named spells in non-World of Greyhawk settings. He says, we all know the handful of named wizard spells in the player's handbook, Nystul's Magic Aura and whatnot. How do you handle these in Forgotten Realms, Mystara, Homebrew? I believe Dark Sun either edited these to fit or took them out entirely. Have you renamed the spells? You guys smell what I'm cooking, let us know.
Well, look at any retro clone, like say
Or
Labyrinth
for
Lord,
Golden Glory, for that matter.
or for Golden Glory, and they had to rename them because of copyright and stuff, and it's just a matter of like knocking off the
pretty much.
name,
You know, or
mostly.
even just being creative and
You know,
renaming it.
You know, Big B's interposing hands, just
Yep,
interposing
pretty much.
hand. They changed. What was it? Was it Mystic? Was it Hammer?
Spiritual Hammer.
Spiritual Hammer. They changed that to Spiritual
that always
Weapon.
made more sense to me.
That was basically because, well, you can do any weapon, not just a hammer.
Yeah.
Just clerics, they blunt weapons, they do hammers, but you do a mace or something like that. But yeah, it's just a matter of filing the serial numbers off.
Pretty much. And you'll notice through most of the TSR published ones that the names, with the exception of Dark Sun, all the names translate through because all these wizards went to other worlds at some point, or at least.
Yeah, go read the Wizards 3 articles that Greenwood put on in Dragon.
Yeah, where it was what Mordenkainen, Elminster,
Mordenkainen,
and
Elminster,
yeah.
Valamar,
So yeah, that's kind of how these spells get transported from one world to the other.
I think occasionally, what's his name was in there from Cormier.
Oh, Vandergast?
Vandergast showed up once in a while, I think, too. Yeah. Anyway, go look at those. That's how they trade off stuff.
I mean, when you do...
If you need it in story justification.
If you're doing it in your homebrew world, it all depends on how much your own you want to make it, or at least that's how I see it.
You say something like Lehman. Yeah. If I'm in like Bluffside and somebody wants to throw Lehman's magical hut, tiny hut, sure, go ahead. I know what you're talking about.
Right,
I don't care. I don't have a copyright police over my shoulder.
It's more about what the spell does than what the name is, right?
Exactly. Serial numbers can always be filed off, right, Full On?
Indeed.
I'm sure you've
in
done
many
it.
ways.
Have you ever had name spells in your game? I mean, Full On, like, have you ever made spells named?
I have a few.
You have? You made a few?
I made a few for my campaign, based on that thing I've talked about before with the time traveling and the alignment change person.
Okay.
And some contact with the Robotech universe.
Yes, I was looking at that.
It looked awesome. I wanted to make a spell that does the same thing.
Well, I stole Death Blossom from the last Starfighter and made it into a wizard's.
Yeah. Who does? Who didn't?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You levitate 5 foot off the ground and just start spinning wildly, throwing magic missiles here and there.
And if your compatriots are lucky, or not lucky but smart, they'll be behind cover because they're going to get some.
Yeah, because it was like a medium to high level spell. Because if you're that level, you're throwing magic missiles all over the place. They're going to hurt.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. As far as the names go, I mean, it all depends on how much you care as a DM and how much you want to make a world yours, I guess. Personally, me, I could care less. Like I said, it's about the spell.
That's the best advice we can give you. Thank
No,
you, Ken.
not Ken. Freddie.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, Fred. Freddie boy. And if you guys got more, send us thacoshammer@gmail.com.
Our number.
Uh,
Okay. Uh-huh.
4.
Four.
Is that it? 4?
Yeah. Select line 4. 405-806-0555.
Thank you. And now we are on to It's in the Book.
If we go by the book, hours would seem like days.
Buy the book! Buy the book!
By the book?
By the book.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Don't go by the book! Think like a pirate!
It's in the book. It's in the book. The legends say my pants
No,
are down.
stop that.
News at 11. Okay, yeah, this is Dragon number 202. It's the article called The Legends Say. It's all about the bardic knowledge skill, which sounds so specific.
Well, let's put it this way. I'll just read the little intro here. The second edition game does a good job of clarifying a bard's knowledge of legendary items. It's the art of drawing on history or legend to identify an item and deduce some of its history, owners, and purposes. How does a bard do it, though? What sets a dancing sword apart from a 9-life stealer? How can a lore master distinguish a ring of free action from a ring of feather falling? And then he goes on to basically the author, who is his name is Fraser Sherman. You could give him credit where it's due. Basically, with a bard's legend lore ability, I'm trying to remember, it's like 10% per level to identify a property about an item that he's trying to, ascertain what it is. And go ahead. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm saying yes, something along those lines, and he gets to keep trying as long as he doesn't screw it up. And it's essentially the theory being there are legends and tales of this epic weapon in use somewhere, and I heard that this thing did this when it was in the hands of this guy, so now I know it can do this.
And the thing is that, the author says that, pretty much a single knowledge roll wouldn't earn a lot of information unless you roll an 01 on your check, which means you know everything about this, whatever it is that you're trying to ascertain. But yeah,
True.
So...
Well, you see, I was there and watched it being forged.
Yep. And basically the author gives advice on how to give little tidbits of knowledge. See, my problem with this is that most of the time you have to come with this stuff off the cuff. and admittedly, I've never been very good at it. Why do you think I was happy none of you guys took bards and hammers to touch me? Because I'm like, oh my god, now I've got to come up with something.
I sense a challenge.
Exactly.
What? We have a challenge.
Yeah, never mind.
I don't know if he wants me singing that much.
Oh man.
Will rock that. Fallout will rock that bardic knowledge till the ends of the earth,
and have absolutely no shame in doing it. Let's see. I'm just going to open up the Bard's Handbook just as a point of reference, because it actually goes a little bit into better depth. I think this article came out before they released the Bard's Handbook. So and while I'm scrolling down to find the specific thing.
You may have to edit a bit. I jumped out.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I was trying to hit the mute button and I hit the hang up button. So
no worries. No worries whatsoever. I should have thought of this beforehand. It's just, sometimes I don't quite have what I need. What I need to do. But it is what it is.
Okay.
Okay. Going into now in the legend lore results. Okay. Now I remember. It's a 5% chance per level to know something about the item. Of course, it's up to the DM to give the information. But another way to do it, they have a 3d6 table. Yeah, which tells you, everything from how many charges is on it, all the way to if there's an 18 rolled, the player can read the Dungeon Master's Guide entry. I mean, but
If there is a Dungeon Master's Guide entry.
then there's that. Then that's on the DM. But
And then if you roll it twice, you get to look in the Encyclopedia Magica.
But the items in the chart are very general in what the information they give. Whether it's intelligent or cursed, or the value of it, or the age of it, what race made it, and things like that. That's when the DM's got to say, well, I roll a 12. I roll a 12 on the chart, and it's the result is who crafted it. Okay, you can say dwarves.
So how many rolls did Gandalf blow trying to identify the One Ring? Because he tried and tried and tried and
spent a lot of time.
Spent a lot of time checking that sucker out before he could say,
well,
let's throw it in the fire. Then he gets everything.
Yeah, he had to pitch a tent in Minas Tirith.
Whoa, jeez.
It's a fuck.
Pitch a tent, really?
You're as bad as my Monday group, damn it.
You're becoming the dirty old man. I'm trying to keep you from that fate.
Okay, well, one guy's a cleric, and he got a wineskin full of holy water or healing potion. And I get so many charges, and for some reason the guy was hurt, and I kept saying, "Well, he'll squirt it in your mouth. Go ahead."
Glenn. Yes,
the healing potion.
Thank
you.
Okay.
Yes,
anyway, let's see. Now I completely forgot what I was going to say before we went on that tangent.
Rolling on the table to see if there's any results to tell you about the specific features of an item as you legend for.
You can always count on you to keep things on track. Now, as you're, in conjunction with this article, it basically gives the DM sort of little tips and little, ways of coming up with descriptive ways to describe this item to the character that is like, that you just can, that piques the curiosity. That's the phrase I wanted to use.
Okay.
And as far as the One Ring goes, that's an artifact level item. Of course, it's going to resist. Gandalf was a great gray mage at the time. It's of course he found out what it was by accident. Of course he did. But anyway, let's see. He's going on about and the author basically says at some point DMs may be screaming, "Whoa, how am I supposed to come up with this information about every treasure hoard?" Yeah, don't. That's what he said. Don't. I hate being caught flat-footed as much as anyone, but developing this kind of detailed description is for every noteworthy item would be a lot of work and largely wasted.
I bet I could come.
Here's something to keep in mind. Glenn first.
No. I'm just saying, I bet I could come up with stuff off the top of my head. It's just that I better damn well have a pad and pen there to write it down, because I ain't going to remember it after I say it.
You're an actor, Glenn. You're good at improvising. So, yeah, I mean, improvisation, geez, I can't even talk today, is one of the best abilities a DM can have, of course.
You were saying, Fulon?
I was going to say that one of the things to keep in mind is it kind of matters what your level of magic for your campaign is. And I'm not talking about just in general if you're playing a Forgotten Realms campaign versus a Hyborian campaign versus just a historical, Viking campaign.
Right.
Okay. This is getting into, think about it as the level of treasure you allow your parties to encounter or expect to be able to run across. If you're the GM type who has 5th and 6th level characters, celebrating the fact that they've heard of and occasionally got to see in combat a +1 sword in somebody else's hands, you might want to consider letting that thing have a little bit of a legend lore feel and flair and label to it. If you're in the Forgotten Realms and it's like every third bartender keeps a +3 frost brand under the bar just in case the fire gets spilled during the bar fight, then you probably don't need to put that much effort and leverage into it, other than maybe putting it on the bartender himself, because what the hell is he doing with it?
Makes sense.
True.
So It's let yourself meter your expectations depending on what you're doing. I mean, look at a high-boring campaign. How many magical weapons do you think were lurking in Conan's movie? You've got the ancestral sword his father made. You've got the Atlantean sword he found in the tomb. You've got the Eye of Set that they took from the tower, and you're probably and the snake arrows.
Yeah.
You're pretty much out right about there, except unless Mako was using armor of the ancients that he found from the dead.
Then there's that, But yeah, I mean, But the funny part is, we're all D&D players, and we were back then when Conan came out in '82, and of course we're like, okay, that's magic, that's magic, that's magical, And there, are, of course, the various magic spells and mysticism in the movie, And it just was interesting. I would just love to know what the Eye of Set did, because as we both know, Conan gave it to Valeria, who ended up dying. But anyway, it's, at least to me, this article is good in sort of giving the DM at least if not the tools, the confidence to come up with magical, history for magical items. And that's one of the challenges of having a bard in the party, is that if there's, of course they're going to have the bard look at every magical item they find, or potential magical item they find, before they turn it over to the mage to do an identify spell.
And you know what? Half the time they use legend lore or bardic lore. They don't care about the history. They just want to know what it does and what it has in it.
But
so half the time you don't have to deal with that.
And if the bard's player rolls good enough on his chart or on his ability, you could just say, okay, open up the DMG, flip. Here, this is what this does. Read it.
Right.
But that's a rare occurrence. That's an one roll on their check, which is only 5% per level. So, it's rare.
And in any case, you'll know if you're dealing with a party that wants that level of information, or if they want the history, lore, and the third son's wielder, ancestral names and stuff. Depending on if you'll know if you've got the hack and slash party, the role play party, the party that you can never pry out of town because they're busy having, trying to find ways to smuggle themselves into court and then get into trouble, So meter your expectations not only on what your campaign plan for magic level and presence is, but what the appetite of the players is for the information.
That makes sense.
Right.
And the funny part is that the majority of people I've seen run bards, they want to actually, do the investigation. I mean, aside from the fact that it's also a good way to get experience points if you're using the optional class XP awards. But, usually the bards players are, they want to write lyrics for the songs that they perform. They want to, go into the detail of what, the actions they're performing. So yeah, sure. This article, it's a decent read. It is a little light on crunch, but it's enough. There's enough there to kind of stoke a DM's imagination when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You must be prepared to deal with the thespians in your group.
And if you
Groot.
And if say you're using an established world, you know enough about the world or enough about your own campaign that you wrote, it should be kind of easy to link it to something.
But now with me, I would only go into that kind of detail for intelligent weapons, the really high-powered stuff, +4 and above.
Plot hook artifacts.
Those are the only ones I would use that level of, going into that level of history about it. But that's because I got 20 million other things to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah, and if it's the MacGuffin of the story, well, all bets are off. You better come up with a good one.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it is fun to do it occasionally just for the genericus mundane weapon,
Every
too.
once in a while.
This +1 dagger was held by this party, and they fell and died at this location. And it passed on to this goblin, who was slaughtered by this adventuring party, who then went to the Flump farm and died there horribly. Which was then found by the, the underlurking, slithering mouther, and it was then passed into the entrails of the Aboleth, who,
the cat, who,
I'm too busy figuring out what a flump farm is. They actually breed those things?
Yeah, that is interesting. But the funny part is that in our next segment, this article we're speaking of now would come into play a lot more easily, let's say. So, shall we?
True. Yes, we shall. Tell us about it at THACOshammer at gmail.com. Next, we got, Loaded for Bear.
Bet you don't have a pair of these, Earthling.
And for the big critters, sometimes you got to bring out the nuclear weaponry.
Loaded for Bear.
Loaded for Bear, another Dragon article, number 237, in the bizarre regular column, long shots. All ranged weapons, bows, and stuff.
Yeah, it's mostly arrows. This was done by Brian Donnell. Basically, his description is, no fantasy archer's quiver is complete without a few magical accoutrements. Here are a dozen remarkable arrows, bows, and other archery accessories for your campaign. Now,
I bet he's got a neat quiver in there.
Let's see. I'm going through the arrows. The best one is the arrow of endless archery. Yeah.
Really?
Let's see.
That's the one Legolas has.
Yeah, I would say so. This arrow was created by an elvish craftsman for a Darfolkian ranger who was tired of running out of arrows at inopportune moments. Dozens of these arrows were created by the Fletcher before he died. They seem to be normal flight arrows and have no magical attack or damage bonus. When placed in a quiver, however, they multiply at a rate of 1 arrow per round until they fill it with up to 12 arrows. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's just one where, all you gotta do is just, whatever you do, unless it's an absolute matter of life and death, don't use that arrow.
One of those, that magic item, one of those will make a character.
Absolutely.
I mean, that would be the one thing that he does not want to part with.
Yeah,
ever.
For any reason at all.
You got a ranger with one of those, he'll go through hell and high water to keep that.
Correct. It's one of those where you would actually have it tied to the inside of his quiver so he never uses it. So so basically, no matter how many arrows he shoots, his quiver will be replenished. Let's see another one. The arrow of. Go ahead.
I had a variation on that in 50 Fathoms. Yes, it was in the book. I gave it to one of the characters. It was a flintlock pistol that will always load itself. Self-loading, but the thing is, you had to have the makings on you. If you have enough for 5 shots, it would load 5 shots, but no more.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but all you have to do, is tap it or something, and the powder and the ball, and there you go.
Yeah. So it doesn't take you 2 rounds to load it and prime it.
Right. A round, but still, that's one less round you have to fight.
You're basically shooting your flintlock once per round. That works.
Actually, it's a pistol, flintlock pistol. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. You got another?
The Arrow of Pyros is another good one. These magical items appear in both major and minor varieties. They both seem to be normal arrows in all respects. See, this is where you give this to the bard. But you see, on impact, they explode into flame. The minor version is basically a flame arrow. When you hit it, it does normal damage plus 46 hit points.
You just don't have to light it before you shoot it.
Yeah,
that's all.
And of course, save versus half damage. The major arrow is a 6-die fireball. So you've got what's the range on normal longbows? 21 squares. So it's so you have a really good range with a bow, and you can just shoot that off way off in the distance and fireball somebody. I mean, even go ahead.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it has better range than the actual spell. when you think about it. But
Wow. And I assume they have some kind of equivalent to Ash's exploding arrows from Army of Darkness.
See. I think that's the ruby tip one. Let me find that real quick.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Steady,
yeah,
steady.
hold.
Light,
Mhm.
light.
Oh no, the ruby tip one's actually teleport somebody.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. The arrow of Thunderstrike is the one that's packed with a
Yes.
lightning bolt.
Oh,
then
my
you got
God.
the arrows of withering.
Yeah, arrows of packed with lightning bolt. Get one that's packed with chain lightning. Hit one guy, hit 5 guys in a row.
Let's see. The diamond-tipped arrows have +4 to hit and do twice normal damage. Yeah.
Wow.
Emeralds.
They're 5,000 gold
Yes,
a
they are
piece.
very
is the
hard,
thing.
very expensive to make. And then you got to find.
Unless you got a dragon for me to fight, I'm not using
exactly.
it.
That's another one of those you just want to hold on to. As far as bows go, the bow of Ilana, which is a Greyhawkian deity of archery. We all know about the quiver, where you could basically hold arrows, bows, staves, arrow stock, whatever you want, whatever in one thing. This bow,
right,
basically is as strong as steel, even though it's made of wood. Saves as hard metal. It can take advantage of exceptional strength and has the range of a composite bow. Magic of the bow prevents it or its string from breaking under normal use, i.e. fumbles. And it has a +2 to attack and damage. That is incredible. You give one of those to your 1899 strength fighter, and he's doing like +7 damage with it. So yeah.
Do they have things other than
that
arrows?
was a bow that I just described. They have.
That was the bow, yeah, or I mean like sling stones
No,
or anything like that.
it's mostly just only has stuff to do with archery.
Okay, that's
But
good.
there would be nothing wrong with doing it with making versions and variants of this using like the Encyclopedia Magica approach to things to make the variant weapons for. I'm not playing an archer. I have shurikens. I'm not playing a ninja. I have throwing darts.
Yeah, for
sure.
Yeah. One of Matt's old games, Brad got a hold of sling stones that explode upon hit. Unfortunately, he couldn't hit the broadside of a vine, and he kept throwing them into melee. The third time that happened, my friend Eric, who kept getting hit with him, just exploded. I mean, at the table, exploded on him. Will you stop firing into melee? You can't hit anything. You hit me.
They're exploding things, so their area of effect. It's like standing in front of me with a shotgun and a blindfold.
I understand that, but he was always ground zero, and he hated it.
But
anyway, go on.
I mean, God, yeah, firing into melee is usually a very bad idea, unless you are so skilled with a bow, even at low level, that the chances of actually hitting your compatriots is really small. But anyway.
Or you just don't care.
Yeah, you're just chaotic neutral. What happens, happens. Que sera, sera. Another one is called Duel's Iron Bow. This one is crafted from iron. Even the string is made of a metallic weave thread. When the command word is spoken, the bow collapses to form a 1-foot rod of solid iron, 1 inch in diameter. And when it's spoken a second time, it causes the bow to expand to its full size.
Oh, it's Green Arrow's bow from the friggin' show.
Yes.
Arrow.
My switchblade bow.
Mine's, kind of like Hawkeye's bow in the Avengers.
I think that's where he might have gotten the idea from. And that one can also take advantage of exceptional strength, and it has a +3 to hit on top of it. So yeah, that's another powerful bow. Although okay, never mind. I just had a might and magic thought, but never mind.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with making crossbow variants of all of this, pebble bow variants of all of this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hurled weapon variants, all of it.
Boomerang variants, whip variants.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Whip with an exploding tip. Woo!
Or like a glaive, and I'm not talking the pole arms.
Oh, my God. Explode brass knuckle. No, that's
Yeah.
Hey, brass knuckles with oil of impact are the shiznit.
Jeez, can you imagine that? Yeah, but oil of impact.
Been there.
Yeah, well, oil of impact was very creatively used in the cleric canticle. Yep.
Yep.
What?
Well, anyway, you guys get the gist of this. This is Dragon 237, long shots under Bizarre of the Bizarre column. So go check it out and tell us all about it if you used it and you got some great ideas for it at thacoshammer@gmail.com. And now on to our final segment. Hey, time for brainstorm.
Now you tell me what you know.
Only the infinity of the depths of a man's mind can really tell the story.
What are you, a wizard, a genius?
DM Brainstorm.
DM Brainstorm. The Legend of... Well,
No. That's been done. Person.
He was a steel driving man, or the guy in the coal mine. He was a coal. In this mine lies a big man. No, that's Jimmy Dean, the Sausage King.
But anyway, this is a.
I played Masterminds, and I had Big John
Nothing
as
wrong
a hero.
with that. Big Bad
anyway.
John. He stood about 6'4". Anyway, this one is for a person. We're going to probably do this again in the near future with a place, and we'll probably do like a magic item or something like that to wrap it up. Use all the nouns. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and a
why
creature.
Not? Sure.
Use all the candy.
Let's do
it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Good.
First decision: the legend of hero, villain, or misunderstood something else.
Let's go with misunderstood something else.
5, 4, 3.
Cool.
Misunderstood something else. So, some people view him as a hero, some people view him as a villain. But he's choosing to be none of the above.
Was he born as a poor black child? Steve Martin was.
Nice jerk reference. Anyway, okay, let's see. All right, if he's misunderstood, let's actually come to a consensus about what he actually was.
Okay, you mean like class and stuff,
race, class,
race,
and then we could just go from there. All right.
Okay, he's a platypus. Bard.
Okay, actually, let's start with this. First question is he even classed at all? Since he's misunderstood, is it a mundane person who's elevated to legend, like, the tailor who took out the giants, or is it an actual classed hero?
Let's make it simple. Villain? Let's do a classed hero. But the whole thing is, I don't think it's what he was that was misunderstood. It's what he might have done is misunderstood. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Print the legend.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. The legend. The legend comes from great deed.
Or
is it infamous deed
that's
or
where
great
misunderstanding comes from, because nobody is exactly sure. As we know, legends build with the repeated telling of a story. Okay, let's go back. This guy.
I'm sure.
And
sure.
Point of view of the teller.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. All right. Let's say this guy is an adventurer. Say, you want to keep it simple. Keep making it simple.
Simple.
Male or female? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Male.
We're gonna get mail on that.
What female listeners do we have? I can put them on one hand. Anyway.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? Anyway, go ahead.
Glenn, I love you like the crazy uncle that you can be, but no, never mind. I'm not going to finish that thought. Anyway, okay, class.
Well, if you're going to open the door, I'm going to walk right in, okay?
But anyway, class. Let's make it, fighter's too easy. Bard. Okay.
Bard!
Done.
Bard, okay. He can exaggerate his own legend.
Say he didn't. Okay. All right, so he's a nail bard. Let's just make him just for ease. All right. So he's had
shades of.
Oh God, no, Danilo fan. How about that? But anyway, okay. So he's had. Let's say he's had a normal adventuring life up until he goes on a legendary quest, and it's one of those kind of decisions where, or not decisions. It's basically he comes to a decision, and either one of the consequences is not good. Let's just say, they're on a mission to save, to save an elven wilderness, let's say, or a virgin wilderness. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
a forest. He's a steward of steward of a forest.
And let's say go ahead.
The other choice destroys the reputation and reign of a ruling family.
Now we're talking.
By stewarding the forest.
No, one or the other.
Save the forest. Save the forest.
I see. Either or. You can give him a more complicated backstory, saying he is the friend of all druids. He knows the head druid personally, and he basically is his dragon for the forest.
He's in pretty much a no-win situation. He's commissioned by this ruling family to discover what the druids are up to or do something like that, not knowing his ties to them. As it turns out, the truth is that this family has been the family wizard has been conducting experiments on the wilderness and on the animals of this forest. Yeah, and what the wizard has been covering it up, you see, and framing the druids.
Framing the druids, so he has to clear their name.
He didn't even know he had to do that until he was put to that point.
Unfortunately, they're all Gungans.
No, stop that.
No.
No, if we were going to do that, then it wouldn't even be like the house wizard. It would be the ruling person, or the person of note who is the thing that ruins the reputation of the family. Isn't one of their employees or serfs or servants. It's an actual member of the house who's doing
fair enough.
Like some minor noble of the family.
Major noble of the family.
All right, a lord or duke or something like that, or earl.
And maybe the actual leader of the the ruling family did not know about this, but the person who is doing it on the sly.
Spouse.
I like that. Okay, so let's say his wife is doing this, and then the bard,
unbeknownst to the king,
unbeknownst to the king, and the bard basically is put in this position where he is to somehow censure or find out what is going on and put a stop to it, what the druids are doing, because that's what the ruler thinks is going on. Okay,
right.
So as it turns out, he finds out what the truth is, and he doesn't want to. He's in basically a no-win situation, like we've said.
Quick, singer, lutist, or drummer,
poet, easily.
And he confides to the wrong person.
Okay.
That's always a good one. Or he gets the lowdown and tells the king. King confronts queen. Queen surreptitiously kills king.
Queen denies it. Queen denies it, and of course, with him being his wife, he has to believe her.
Right. But it's one of those situations where the king isn't as stupid as she thinks he is. And he gives them the information. She denies it, but she happens to slip up somehow and some kind of thing that proves that the guy is telling the truth. So she turns around and kills him. And then the king is dead. Who killed the king? Those damn druids.
And
he's working for them.
He's working for the family, but he has the ties to the druids, so he's in a no-win situation.
I hope I didn't steal the plot from Outlaw of Gore, which I just recently watched. On Mystery Science Theater.
Well, actually, I was thinking.
Don't forget the anarchist rebellion front, who was always against the ruling family anyway, whether they were doing anything wrong or not.
Yeah.
The disgruntled underbelly of the area being ruled.
The serfs.
Okay.
The peasants. They were getting a raw. It's one of those. Prince of the
businessmen.
Yeah, pretty much the Prince of the Pauper thing, where they were committing like all kinds of stuff in the king's name with the queen's blessing, because she got a cut.
That works. That definitely works.
And
samples.
and samples.
Experimental samples.
We don't. There is no slavery in my kingdom. Well, none that you know of.
So,
yeah, there are no hidden arenas where people fight to the death. None that you know of.
That's why they call. That's why they call it underground.
Exactly.
So we're talking magical creation of horrors.
Yes.
Aberrations start creeping in from the woodlands. Or becoming loose in the woodlands.
And somehow the queen finds a way to use this to her advantage.
Because she's like that. But the whole success or failure of this operation falls upon the bard, who, after finding out what the truth is, decides to side with the druids and the serfs. Go ahead.
Okay, here's another one. What's driving the queen? I mean, yeah, okay, power and things like that, but is she serving some dark lord that is diametrically opposed to the wizard? Like some kind of chaos or something?
Wizard? Bard.
No, the queen I'm talking about.
Yeah, the queen is the wizard.
But but she basically, she's power hungry, to keep it simple. She wants the kingdom for herself because she sees it that
she wants her chaotic whatever to come down and rule, and she will be ruling right along with him. Yeah, or she gets a part of it or something.
So it's basic.
Germany gets the biggest task.
So basically, it's basically a corruption of the land that has to take place in order for whatever power she is secretly serving to take hold.
She is not chaotic stupid. She is dangerously genre savvy.
Okay.
Yeah, but then it comes to find out that at the last minute she's wrong genre savvy when the guy turns around and says, "Okay, you gave me this.
Yeah, of course.
Bye."
That's how that works. That's always how that works.
Yes. I have a feeling we did it like a perverted Legend of Robin Hood type.
Nothing wrong with that. But
yeah, so he's the one who has to save the land.
But in order to do that, he will have his reputation destroyed within the kingdom.
Of course.
Because she is a very beloved queen and a very beloved ruler.
Who has a dark side.
Yes.
So
she's not
secret. The reason there is a legend is because this bard who sided with the forest brought down the popular front king, the popular front queen, and unleashed, and is understood to have caused their downfall and multiple deaths, and unleashed somehow the corruption that she was arbitrarily controlling because she was alive, making it happen, as opposed to, and is now running free, no longer in check by its master.
Okay,
that's right.
And that is,
and she's not above killing her spouse to appease,
which is what she ended up doing. Yes, but the whatever it is that she unleashed upon the land before it was finally brought down by the bard at the cost of his life. At the cost of his life, but because it was his actions that the populace deemed, brought the ruin of the king and queen who had everything quote unquote under control. His name is spoken with equal amounts of reverence and disdain.
That's what I was going to say. What is the current legend? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a little bit of both?
If you talk to the druids, they revere him, and they would put him up for sainthood if they could. If you talk to the remains of the ruling family, he's a traitor. If you talk to the peasants, he's the one who caused all this darkness, and only by him even sacrificing himself to stop it, even that wasn't quite enough to completely clear his name. It's sort of like it's.
So then we have plenty of plot.
I'm thinking there's a hook here for a untended, unrested spirit of the bard haunting
he's a
somewhere
revenant.
because he's a revenant because he's got unfinished business and a ruined reputation.
And if you get a player character who's like a relative of his, you got Shades of Hamlet right there.
That works for me. Yes.
Avenge me. And, all of a sudden you have Isildur's heir.
Wow.
You know.
Who knew? Who knew we even came around to that point? Jeez. But I mean, it's a three-pointed reputation with him, depending on who you talk to, good, bad, or indifferent. With the populace, he's indifferent because, he brought an end to this, but he caused it in the first place, so screw him. You talk to the ruling family, he's a traitor, and they spit on the ground whenever his name is even mentioned.
Or his songs are
his
sung.
Stories are told exactly.
In fact, he has a underground popular following of outlawed banned material. Okay.
Yeah, but you can't speak of it in this region, or you're likely to have your head chopped off.
True, but now you're set. Now your players are set up for some kind of epic story of stopping whatever he couldn't stop and avenging his name.
That's why he came back as, say, a revenant or something along those lines.
Or you could have that already happen, and that was like 200 years in the future, which brought his name back. He is now revered across the land, but something didn't quite get finished.
Fair enough.
Maybe the chaos got banished for X number of centuries or years. And the legend says that an heir will rise, and if he doesn't do anything by the time these planets align,
then the darkness returns worse than before.
The aberration generator was controlled and making things on the direction and schedule of the Queen, but with them gone and no longer in play, it is just spontaneously coughing out this, that, the other until it goes into a ultimate breakdown and unleashes wasteland forming hordes of just
dogs
creatures.
and cats living together. Yes,
there you go. I like
that's
that.
hysterical.
I like that. Let's stop there.
Okay, that gives you like 3 different hooks for that one legend. Yeah, at least 3.
Yeah, at least that.
At least the ghost thing, the Isildur's heir thing, and the many centuries later we gotta make sure it stays fixed type hook. But there's tons more.
There is, for sure.
I mean, we complicated it enough so you guys can get something out of it,
or at least get inspired by the idea of it. So
yes,
that's what this brainstorm is about. Even though at some point the 4 of us need to sit down and actually put the stuff out, and maybe we can actually create a campaign based off of what we talked about. Who knows?
Who knows?
This is the tale of the lamentable liar of Longsaddle. And liar is spelled Lyre or Liar, depending on who you talk to.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
sorry.
With that announcement, fanfaring the end of the show.
I forgot to turn my phone off. My apologies.
Let's close the splat book. Okay. Say goodbye.
And remember, folks, just because you have one person telling you the story, that doesn't mean that it's the whole story.
Go on.
The Force will be with you always, from a certain point of view.
I think what our rookie friend is trying to say is, I'm GM Glen, DM Glen, and I'll see you next time. We'll all see you next time. The hammer comes down on THACO's hammer.
You're playing too many games, Glen.
THACO's hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the Second Edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.